My mother held me down while my father arranged my wedding to a 50-year-old man who'd buried 2 wives. My hands were bound in front of relatives clapping. I was 15. Today, she's terminal, begging for forgiveness, but she'll die alone. My voice once silent now helps girls escape. They raised a rebel, not a bride. And I'm not done. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. In our family, getting your period meant you were ready to be a wife at 11. I watched my cousin bleed through her dress and get pulled from school. She never came back. I began hiding pads, pretending I was younger. My mother praised obedience in silence. My father measured my worth in dowry offers. I taped books to my chest to slow growth. I wasn't a child, I was a ticking clock at 12. I learned to keep my eyes down, my voice lower, and my dreams buried. My mother taught me to cook, clean, and never speak back. My father drilled obedience is love. But Miss Carter, my English teacher, saw me scribbling poems about locked doors and burning dresses. She slipped me books, The Handmaid's Tale. I am Malala. I read them at night, under covers. That's when I began to imagine another world. At 13, the house changed. My door lost its lock. I couldn't go anywhere alone for your safety, they said. Layla taught me to kneel gracefully. Nabi examined suitors like livestock buyers. My cousin Anna whispered her fears. I drew escape routes in math notebooks. Miss Carter invited me to stay after school, subtly slipping hotline flyers into my binder. But Layla searched my bag that night. Western poison, she hissed. I burned the papers. They called it preparation, but it felt like a countdown to burial. I was forced into modesty training, walking without sound, eating last, never asking why. Nabi banned TV and internet. Miss Carter noticed I flinched at praise. Anna said her suitor was 42. I gave her one of my escape diagrams. That night Layla slapped me for defiance. I bled on the kitchen tile. Learn shame, she hissed. I stared at the blood, not her. My aunt found Anna's escape notes. She was beaten, pulled from school, and moved states away. No one spoke her name again. Fear spread. I played dumb, stopped staying late. But Ms. Carter's eyes lingered longer, worried. She gave me a prepaid flip phone, only for emergencies, she whispered. That night, Nabi stood in the doorway as I changed clothes. I froze. You'll make a fine bride, he said. My stomach turned. I didn't eat for days. Nabi began locking the fridge. I was monitored. Bathroom breaks timed. School bags searched. Layla accused me of flirting with classmates. Fatima, Hamid's widow, visited for tea. Her eyes were hollow. She said little but touched the scars on her hands. It gets worse, she whispered when no one looked. I passed her a folded note about escape plans. She crushed it in her palm, lips trembling. If you try, she said. Run far, very far. Patricia Greer from Legal Aid came to speak at school. I asked a question about emancipation laws. That night, Nabi stormed into my room with school paperwork. What are you scheming? He roared. Layla wept beside him, calling me cursed. I was suspended for disruptive behavior. Ms. Carter was reprimanded for pushing feminist ideology. I hid the flip phone in a tampon box. That night, I whispered, if they come, I'll be ready. My hands shook. Layla staged a family prayer to cleanse my soul. Relatives gathered, chanting, touching my forehead. See, you're ready for marriage, Nabi demanded. I stayed silent. Someone slapped me. My cheek burned. But I didn't cry. Fatima mouthed, don't break. Ms. Carter called KSBS anonymously. But when they visited, Layla put on her pearls and served tea. She's troubled but safe, she smiled. The agents left. I dug up my stash cache, IDS maps, plan B when my first blood came. Layla screamed like I'd been reborn. Nabi scheduled the engagement party. I've omitted in the sink. Ms. Carter noticed my pale face. It's close, isn't it? She whispered. I nodded. She handed me a burner phone and safe house address. That night, Anna's friend Theodore arrived in a van pretending to be a delivery driver. I climbed in barefoot, carrying only a backpack and my poetry journal. Go, I told her. She sped off before I looked back. We drove through the night. I didn't speak until dawn. Theodora gave me a hoodie and hot tea. She said Fatima had warned her. You're not alone, she said. At the safe house, KSBS waited. Margaret Lang questioned me gently, eyes scanning bruises. I showed my poetry journal, coded timelines, escape maps, notes from Fatima. Ms. Carter arrived too, pale but fierce. I'll testify, she said. That night, I slept without locking a door. My ribs ached, but I exhaled freely. The Whitakers reported me missing. News spread that I'd been kidnapped. Lil wept on local TV, blaming evil Westerners. Nabi called me mentally unstable. Patricia Greer filed an emergency order for protective custody. They froze my school records. My face was blurred on the news. But online, poems circulated anonymously. Ms. Carter uploaded them as letters from Zara. Other girls messaged the page. One wrote, I think I'm next. I answered, we're building something. You're not alone. Nabi tried reclaiming custody. He brought a fake psychologist who diagnosed me as delusional. Ms. Carter's files were subpoenaed, but Patricia countered with medical records, bruises, a broken rib, malnutrition. The judge allowed testimony from Fatima, now living in a shelter. I have the same scars, she said, lifting her sleeves. Silence filled the courtroom. KSBS assigned me to Theodora as foster guardian. Layla fainted in court. Nabi was escorted out for shouting. For once, they couldn't control the narrative. I enrolled under a new name. The school counselor gave me space, not pity. I started a blog, Coded Language for Survivors. Anna reached out through a burner email. They moved me again, she wrote. I still have the diagram. Fatima shared my poems at a women's shelter. One girl recognized the metaphors. You knew Hamid too, she asked. Together, we mapped names, places, habits. A network was forming underground, silent but growing. I wasn't just surviving anymore, I was organizing. We called it the network. Each notebook passed hand to hand. Each girl had an exit map. Hotline and safe word. Samira Noor, age 14, escaped a night before her wedding. Theodora Tukurin. KSBS began cross-referencing our maps with missing persons reports. Hamid was arrested for bigamy and trafficking. Nabi and Layla were under investigation. They tried calling from burner numbers. I blocked them. My hands no longer shook. I pressed them to my heart. I was building something sacred. They said I fabricated everything. An anonymous forum accused me of white savior fantasies. Someone posted a photo of me smiling at a school picnic. Looks traumatized to you, it read. But Anna backed me in comments. She saved my life. Samir wrote, you think she chose this? Fatima uploaded old wedding contracts, girls aged 12 to 15. One had my name, date blurred. I stared at it. The proof I feared was finally real. A journalist reached out. Off the record, she said, I think this goes deeper. She uncovered that my father's community center funneled girls into marriages overseas. Hundreds, some unaccounted for. Layla handled paperwork. KSBS launched a federal probe. I testified in closed court. Theodora held my hand outside. Protesters rallied for survivors. One sign read, Sarah speaks for us all. I didn't cry. I read my poetry aloud. My voice didn't tremble. It carried. Layla sent a letter. Tear-stained, shaky handwriting. Forgive me, she wrote. I was trapped too. Enclosed was a photo of her as a teen bride, wrists bruised. I didn't reply. Instead, I mailed the photo to the journalist. The article led with it. Cycle of control. The headline read. Layla's sister called, sobbing. We didn't know. I knew better. They looked away. Silence is complicity. The truth wasn't mine to bury. It was mine to burn through. Fatima disappeared for 2 weeks. We feared she's been taken. Then she returned silent. Eyes raw. They tried again, she whispered. Hamid's cousin had followed her to the shelter. But she had mace witnesses and now, the law police arrested him for stalking. She rejoined the network with more names. We added self-defense training to the curriculum. No more running blind. Every girl would leave not just hidden but prepared. Fatima led the first session. We fight smart, she said. Ms. Carter's license was suspended after an anonymous complaint. Unprofessional activism, they claimed. She packed up her classroom in silence. I stood beside her as she carried out books. The principal wouldn't meet her eyes, but students hugged her in the hallway. I made copies of every poem she's kept, uploaded them to the blog. Her classroom was my escape hatch, I wrote. They tried to silence her, so I'll speak louder. Thousands read it overnight. The blog was hacked, posts erased, load unlocked. A message replaced the homepage, lies die here. I froze, then rebuilt it from backups, this time encrypted. We moved the operation offline, burner phones only, no names. Kespius traced the breach to a device registered to a Whitaker cousin. Legal aid filed charges. Meanwhile, the network spread through shelters and locker rooms. Girls pass notebooks like sacred texts. You're not crazy. One note read, you're awake. That's why they fear you. Anna's message came through. They're moving me again. I'm scared. She'd been bounced through 5 homes. I sent her a list of advocates and told her. Say Theodora Whitman referred you. 2 weeks later, Anna walked into the shelter. Bruised but grinning. They thought I was alone, she said. She wasn't. We hosted our first Survivor Summit. 5 girls, 3 allies, 1 rented basement. We lit candles, shared stories. Mapped danger zones. Our voices wove a firewall of truth. We started leaving coded bookmarks and library copies of Speak and I Am Allah. Inside maps, burner numbers, escape steps. Girls began reaching out from cities we'd never been to. A counselor in Ohio mailed us a flash drive case notes from 5 schools. All with patterns. We matched it to 3 names on our watch list. Kespius opened a multi-state inquiry. One girl wrote, I found your map. I thought I was dying. Now I'm running. Theodora got a warning, back off or be buried in court fees. Someone filed a frivolous lawsuit claiming she coerced minors. Anonymous, of course. Patricia countered with defamation charges. Fatima contacted a retired judge who now trained legal advocates. We were invited to speak at his conference. I stood behind the podium, heart racing. They call us unstable, rebellious, dangerous. I said good. Stability is how they buried us. Rebellion is how we breathe. The crowd stood. Margaret Lang retired. Kespius sent a replacement stern, clipboard always in hand. She doubted everything. These girls could be fabricating, she said, until she visited the shelter. Samir showed her the tracking app Hamid once used. Anna played recordings. Fatima recited names. The woman paled, closed her folder. I'll reassign myself, she said. We never saw her again. Her replacement, young, eager, said, I read the blog. My sister escaped too. The firewall was growing thicker. They couldn't breach us now. An anonymous tip said a girl named Amina was locked in a basement. The police wouldn't act. No visible bruises, no witness. We mobilized. Samira found her online through a school forum, unopposed as a tutor. We traced the address, gathered photos. Fatima called an old contact in journalism. The report aired that night. Within hours, the house was raided. Amina was freed. She clung to my journal like armor. I didn't think you were real, she said. Kespius tried closing our program, called it unauthorized outreach. Patricia filed an injunction. Theodora contacted local press. Survivors filled the courthouse steps with signs. One read, I bled but didn't break. Another, let us speak. Ms. Carter arrived. Reinstated as an advocate. You silenced my class, she told them, not my students. The judge ruled in our favor. We became the first recognized survivor-led mentorship network in the state. They wanted us gone. We carved ourselves into the system. Layla was hospitalized, cancer, stage 4. She listed me as next of kin. I refused. Instead, I sent a letter. You gave me scars, then begged for balm. I wrote, this is not my redemption arc. I donated in her name to shelters. Fatima said, you didn't have to. I did. Not for her, for me. Forgiveness isn't silence. It's choosing your own ending. And mine would never again begin with their story. It was ours now, fully ours. Nabi fled overseas. He was arrested entering Turkey. False documents, bribery attempt. Use extradition was granted. Anna cried when she heard, he can't touch us now. Courtroom cameras captured his return. I didn't attend. Instead, I led a self-defense workshop. Samira taught blocking. Fatima narrated scars. We were too busy building futures to gloat over ruins. This collapse wasn't our triumph. Our unity was. Power isn't revenge. It's knowing we're no longer prey, and we never will be again. The network launched a hotline, anonymous, multilingual, staffed by survivors. On the first day, we got 43 calls. One girl whispered, is it real? Can I leave? We said yes, and helped her. A grant followed. Then partnerships. Schools invited us to train staff. One teacher cried writing my poem aloud. I see her in my students, she said. We gave her a binder, escape plans, signals, support resources. I'm ready, she said. The firewall was becoming a fortress. We held our first survivor graduation. Anna got her dead. Samira was accepted into nursing school. I recited the poem that started it all. Ms. Carter cried in the front row. Fatima stood beside me, flame in her eyes. You lit the match, she said. We built the blaze. Every girl received a journal and pepper spray. Not because fear ruled us, but because we knew how close the edge could be. Survival wasn't enough. We aimed higher now. We got a message from a girl in Texas locked away. Phone monitored. She found our hotline hidden in a school bathroom. We coded a plan. 3 days later she slipped out during a fire drill. Theodora met her at the rendezvous. She cried when handed a journal. I thought I was crazy. We all did once. Now we knew better. Every girl freed added a brick to the fortress. One day, they'd need a wrecking ball. They erased me from photos, but not from truth. I wear no shame. My burn scars are my armor. Every girl saved is a line in my legacy. I'm whole. Nabi faces life in prison. Layla died alone. But the hotline rings daily. Girls are still escaping. And we're here stronger, louder, building safe exits where none existed before. We endure. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe to check out more stories on my channel.